Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's Friday. I'm doing right now, as usual, triple cam, Canon R with Canon 85mm, Canon 80D with Canon 50mm, plus Sony a7 II with Sony 35mm. Fotógrafo, Joe Studio Manhattan, New York City. Welcome to my studio. Let's talk about photography. Make a hit list. Once you have communicated with the client and covered the question on your checklist, it's time to plan. Creating a running sheet that you keep either on your mobile or printed out will be a handy tool. You can keep track of the flow and key moments of the event and be ready in the right place at the right time. Include images the client has marked as essential and those that they have advised avoiding. Share the document with the client before the event to ensure there is an understanding of what to expect. It also acts as a part of an insurance policy should the client later complain that you missed critical moments. Number 5. Include candidates while you work from your hits list to meet the client's expectations. Also be on the lookout for candidate shots. A candidate shot captures a moment where the guests were not expecting the photograph, unlike staged and posed photos. Candidate images have a natural influence about them. More often than not, you will get great images of particulars being themselves and not putting on their photo smile. Experiment with this and take shots while people are enjoying a drink or a meal together. These candidate event picture go a long way to complementing the formal images. Number 6. Shoot a B-roll. Aside from the formal and candidate shots, it would help if you took the time to capture some B-roll images. A B-roll is used by the client to help tell the story of the event. I recommend getting to the location well before the party kicks off. That way you can scout the venue and understand where key moments take place. Also get a feel for the lighting and the dial in your camera setting to match this. You can go beyond photographing the empty venue to capturing candidate images of the stuff setting up, food placed on tables, decorations, and decor. Now that you have the right camera, your next step is to select the suitable lenses. Lens quality is an essential consideration as lenses form a critical part of the image quality equation. there is no point having the best camera in the world if you have a terrible lens. I prefer to shoot with a prime lens, single focal lens, as they tend to have sharper image quality and wider aperture. Aperture is the width at which you can open the lens aperture diagram to allow light in. The wider the aperture, the better, as it allows more light to hit the camera sensor. A lens with an aperture of 1.4, 1.8, 2.8 is perfect for event photography. But what about the focal lens? If you are shooting with a prime, then I recommend a wide lens so you can capture more of the event context. Wider lenses are also ideal for group shots and capturing the scale of the event. You could start with a wider lens with a focal length of around 24mm or 35mm. If you are shooting tighter compositions such as couple portraits, often the case of your wedding photography, I would also suggest a prime. A lens that between 50 to 85mm is ideal for this kind of image. If zooms are your thing, then you want a lens with a wide aperture and a focal range between 24mm to 70mm. Longer lenses are obviously useful for shooting subjects that are farther away, such as with fashion photography, where the stage may restrict you from approaching the models. You might also like to check out our guides to the best lenses for concert photography and the best lenses for the event photography. Framing. Choose an attractive, culture-free background for your interview. Take a moment to look around. Tidy the space up. Move your model if you need to, keeping in mind both of the background and the lighting. Frame the interview using the rule of third. Framing. Choose an attractive, culture-free Contrast. Contrast defines the range of tonal difference between the shadow and lights of an image. As the contrast becomes higher, it emphasizes these variations, resulting in stronger textures and colors. Pictures with lower contrast may be perceived as a dull, as a smaller difference between light and shadows results in a muted appearance. Crop factor. Crop factor is the proportion of a camera sensor size to a 35mm film frame or digital full frame sensor. Different brands work with different crop factors. For example, Canon offers 1.3x APS-H and 1.6x APS-C, while Nikon, Sony, Fuji, and Pentax use a 1.5x ratio ASPC. A camera's crop factor determines a lens effective focal length, which allows photographers to easily understand the field of view they will get to comparison to other bodies. Fotógrafo Joe Studio, Manhattan, New York City. Welcome to my studio. Use a slight distortion. Create unusual portrait by using distortion to your advantage. Using a 50mm lens on a full frame camera from a distance of around 1 meter from the model's face will create an instant portrait through slight distortion, as well as a particular tension from invading the model provided space. Mood is everything. The photographer is a conductor of the shoot. So it's the photographer's job to create the atmosphere where everybody can be most productive. The photographer's own mood, inspiration, dynamism, jokes, and music during the shoots, helping to keep the stress down and amplify the team. Hold a pre-production meeting. For larger commercial shots directly with a client, it's important that the photographer holds through BBM meeting to discuss all the shoot details, including overall shoot's goal, number of steps, mood board, style and light, references, styling and makeup. Always try to grow. No matter how much success you currently enjoy, repeating the same things over and over stops your growth as a photographer. Always try to improve your qualification with classes, experimentation, or by learning a new technique. camera setting functions and features such as resolution and frame rate. Understand the setting of resolution 7 pixels Thank you very much, my friends. Thank you very much, my friends. Have a good day and have a nice day. Bye. Thank you very much, my friends. Have a good day and have a nice day. Bye. كده بقى احنا بنجرب حاجة تانية جديدة خالص. اهي اللايت بنشوفه. ده بقى شغل جديد، يعني حاجة تغيير جو وكده. بحيث ان نشوفه يعني زي الديسكو او الفلاش لايتس، نشوفه ده الافكت هيعمل ايه مع الحركات بتاعتنا والجو بتاعنا والكلام ده كله. او ربنا يسهل بقى نشوفه ايه ده هيعمل ايه وشكله ايه، هل هيجيب نتيجة، يعني اي كلام هيبقى كل حاجة. بإذن الله خير. يلا نشوفه بقى. يلا اوكي. ده حلو مش وحش. ده حاجة جديدة خالص. اوكي. Number 3. It's just juxtaposition of the objectivity and the subjectivity that makes photography such a fascinating art, from the blurs, the boundaries between reality and interpretation. While certain genres such as the documentary and scientific photography strive of objectively to convey an unbiased responsibilities of trust, there is still a human element. And that human element only grows in other forms of photography, like fine art and creative photography. Though we may try our best to categorize a photo as more artistic or more realistic, they overlap tendency. Some of the most artistically من figural photos I've seen were capturing in the contents of science, and some of the most interesting scientific records in the past century were created by photography. Thank you very much, my friends. Have a good day and see you soon. Bye. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good morning, my friends. Today is Wednesday. I'm doing right now triple cam Canon R with Canon 85mm, Canon 80D with Canon 18 135mm, plus Sony A7 II with Sony Zeiss 2470mm. Fotógrafo, Joe Studio, Manhattan, New York City. Welcome to my studio. Framing. Make sure your subject is well positioned and free of distractions. Blocking. Plan where shots and objects will be placed in the scenes for optimal impact. Use of space. Use the space in your frame effectively to enhance storytelling and add depth. Camera setting. Adjust setting based on the scenes. Frame rate determines the smoothness of motion. Aperture. Control the depth of field. ISO affects the camera sensitivity to light. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. Poor composition. You must avoid cluttered or unbalanced shots by following composition rules and checking your frame. Lighting issue. Make sure your scenes is well lit and avoid harsh shadows or overly bright spots. For this, you can use diffusers and reflectors as needed. Number 7. Camera movement problems. Keep camera movement smooth and the deliberate, shaky footage can be avoided by using stabilizers. Inconsistent style, maintain a cohesive visual style throughout your film. For that, you need to plan your shots and lighting to match the desired tone and mood. Studying films, watching and analyze film from various genres and directors will also help. When you see how they use techniques, you will understand film videography better and be able to apply those lessons to your work. Practice and feedback. You need to practice regularly and get feedback from your skilled peers or mentors. This will help you hone your skills. Seek constructive criticism, and when you get it, use it to improve. Aim for the shallow depths of field. When shooting portrait, you typically want to focus to be on the subject's face, not in the background or in the other words. You want the subject's face to be in sharp focus, but the background should be much softer. To get this effect, you may need to tinker with your DSL camera setting. A wide aperture will help create a shallow depth of field. And to compensate for the increased light, you will probably need to increase your shutter speed. Practice with different portrait lenses. While a standard 50mm lens might work great in many situations, you may want to experiment with some other options when it comes to shooting portrait. It may seem counterintuitive, but telephoto lenses can be great for portrait photography since they can intensify the contrast between your subject and the background. They also allow you to shoot close-up photos without getting too close. It's generally best to avoid wide-angle lenses as they exaggerate your subject's features, especially near the edge of the frame.
حصريا على موقع مهرجانات دوت كوم.
دي جي ساسو ريميكس.
سكر محلي محطوط على كريمة، كعبك محلي والعود على القيمة،
وتجيني تلاقيني لسه بخيري، مش هتبقي لغيري، ايوه انا غيري مفيش.
بنت الجيران شغلة لنا عنايا، وانا في المكان في خلق حواليا، مش عايز حد ياخد باله من اللي انا فيه. شفت القمر سهرني لياليا، وهموت عليك رب العالم بيا. سيب شباكك مفتوح ليه تقفلي
بهوايا انت قاعدة معايا، عينيك ليا مرايا، يا جمال مراية العين. خليكي لو هتمشي اناديكي، انت ليا انا ليكي، احنا الاتنين قطعين. تسيبيني اجرح حياتي وسنيني، هتوه ومش هلاقيني، واشرب خمور وحشيش، وتجيني تلاقيني لسه بخير.
سكر محلي محطوط على كريمة، كعبك محلي والعود على القيمة، عليكي بس تخلي العقل مجنون، دوبت قلبي بخطوة من رجلك، سحبت روحي سابتني وراحت لك، انا ليك وبيكي ومعاكي لازم اكون
شغلاني مش هقولك تاني، لو ألف حاجة وجعاني بشوف عينيك ارتاح، يا ملاكي تروح حياتي فداكي، هفضل وراكي وراكي في أي مكان يتراح، بصيلي هز وشك ميلي، سيب عينك تحكيلي اللي انت مخبياه، وقوليلي فهمتي ايه من عيني، وعالسؤال جاوبيني، لو تحبيني قوليلي.
فهمت عيني من قبل ما اتكلم، مش عايز غيرك عليك انا مصمم، عودك جمالك كل اللي فيك يضحك، دمك خفيف وضحكتك شاربة زي العسل، روحك يا حلوية، عشان حبك محتاج لمليون قلب،
على موقع
عشان
مهرجانات.
حبك محتاج لمليون قلب.
بسبوس عاشق بسة يدلعها بسبوسة، بسبوس عاشق بسة يدلعها بسبوسة، يلحقها من بيت البيت يقلب تصير بوسة، يلحقها من بيت البيت يقلب تصير بوسة. كاس العرق يا كاسي قدروني اعز ناسي، كاس العرق يا كاسي قدروني اعز ناسي، الله يلعن عشرتهم اللي وجعت راسي، الله يلعن عشرتهم اللي وجعت راسي، كاس العرق يا كاسي قدروني اعز ناسي، كاس العرق يا كاسي قدروني اعز ناسي، الله يلعن عشرتهم اللي وجعت راسي، الله يلعن عشرتهم اللي وجعت راسي. يا حسين حلوة